Yo, what's going on, guys? Johnny GB here, bringing you guys week number 8 of the PGL, the Thursday doubleheader here on April 26th. Before we get back into regularly scheduled action here in week 9, we are taking on Gearhart. This is a very important battle. We're sitting at 3-4 at the time of this. The last wild card spot is sitting at, I think, 4-3 or 4-2 at this point. Or 4-3 or 5-2 in that range. So I have my work cut out for me to try and make that last spot. I'm gonna need help. I'm gonna need a couple losses by, I think, newly added Crimson and the Detroit Type Nulls. I think I'm gonna need 1 or 2 losses by his team to really help me in the playoff push, and I'm gonna have to win out. So just because if he loses his games, I still have to win out my games. And this is actually one of the very important ones. The division leader, Gearhart coach of the Seattle Staraptors. You guys see the team. We have a couple new additions this week. We have Starmie making its debut for the Duckletts, and Curon Black, who is traded over from the Portland Timbers for Naga Onadel. We thank Naga Onadel for its service on the team. But Curon Black now gives me 1 less setup sweeper and a physical wall breaker. You're looking at Gearhart's team. He has Mamoswine, Manectric, Mimikyu, Skarmory, Delphox, and Skuntank. So, in building, Skuntank and Mimikyu were the 2 obvious brings. I have 4 Psychic types on my team. Those 2 were coming. Mamoswine does damage against my team. Manectric does very well against my team. He just has to slap HP Grass onto it, and then I have no electric immunities outside of that. And then Skarmory, Delphox, they were kind of just a filler mon. Skarmory I saw coming because Incineroar is my main way of taking this thing out, but we're going to get right into the battle. And I'm choosing Seismitoad as my lead because he doesn't have a water resist. I can get up my Stealth Rocks early on, I can click Scald, and I can bait out that Mega Manectric. I have this EV'd so that I can OHKO it. This is a counter rain Seismitoad. He does have a rain team as well that he could have brought. So this is a counter rain Seismitoad. He's going to lead off with Mamoswine, get his Stealth Rocks up. I decide, you know what, I'm just going to Scald turn 1. If I burn the Mamoswine, it's no longer a concern for me later in the game. I don't have Bullet Punch Metagross with me this week, so that's a little bit unfortunate, but just firing off a Scald and crippling the Mamoswine, I'm good to go. Now I can get up my Stealth Rocks. He's not going to sack off his Mamoswine because it does a lot versus my team. I can get my rocks up. And he goes into Mega Manectric, exactly what I want. He's going for HP Grass. That's a given. And now I can stay in, I can pop my Rindo Berry, and I can now OHKO the Mega Manectric with the Earth Power. With Mega Manectric gone, I'm in a much happier spot. I now outspeed a lot of his team. I don't have to worry about getting Volt Switch and giving him initiative, but Mega Manectric managed to bait it out, get rid of it all in 1 turn, along with getting my Stealth Rocks and weakening Mamoswine. So right away early on, I'm very happy. My strategy that I wanted to implement is now gone, or not gone, now used to perfection. He's going to go out to Alice, which is his Mimikyu, so at this point, if he goes for Wood Hammer, fine. My main idea is Seismitoad did the job it was supposed to do. I'm just going to fire off a Scald. If I can burn the Mimikyu, yay. But the main point is break this thing's disguise. I cannot let this thing set up a Swords Dance, because Swords Dance, Life Orb, Shadow Sneaks are going to hurt my team. So he's going to fire off a Play Rough. Down will go Seismitoad, and nothing I can complain for. Seismitoad came in and it did what it had to do. Get rocks up, get rid of the Mega Manectric, and now Metagross can come in and revenge this Mimikyu whenever. I have Bullet Punch, I can revenge the Mimikyu whenever I want. So he's going to go out to Jatayu, which is the Skarmory. Kind of expected here, but I still make the safe play, and I just go for the Bullet Punch. No reason for me to risk it. Just make the safe play, go for the Bullet Punch, and put myself into a good position here. So with Skarmory out, he could defog, get rid of the rocks, save his Mamoswine a little bit of health, but that means he no longer has rocks up on his side of the field. I can go out to my Starmie can damage anything on his team now. Mimikyu isn't behind a sub. Or not behind a sub. Mimikyu isn't behind a Swords Dance, doesn't have Disguise. He's going to show off Whirlwind though, so a little surprise there, but you know what, with the amount of setup sweepers I have on my team, seeing Whirlwind on Skarmory actually makes a lot of sense. So instead of setting up a Swords Dance with Scolipede, I'm just going to go for the Aqua Tail just to get damage off. And for me, I do end up getting a crit, but my main thing was, if I set up a Swords Dance, he's just going to Whirlwind me away. So let's get some damage off and see what it brings me out into. It brings me out to my Starmie. So 1, I can Rapid Spin. 2, I can Scald and get more damage off on this Skarmory. Skarmory and Starmie on the same field. I hate saying that. So, actually nothing else could go wrong for me here. I can fire off the freest Scalds here in case he wants to try to spin block me. And that's what exactly he tries to do. He tries to spin block me with the Mimikyu. I just fire off the Scald here, and that's pretty much it. Now, Starmie is pretty physically bulky. I can take a Shadow Sneak. So, I don't need to risk him setting up potentially. I can just stay in. I can go for a Scald, and I can get rid of the Mimikyu, as he's going to now be weakened to Life Orb. I could have clicked Recover and kind of just HP stalled the Mimikyu, but no reason for me to take the chances. I just get the kill. I'm going to get the Leftovers recovery. We're now sitting up for 6-4. So here comes the Skuntank. Now, this is obvious. He's coming in to Pursuit Trap me. So I'm just going to recover up. The Pursuit Trap was obvious when you bring in the Skuntank into the Starmie. So now I can just recover and I can get my HP back. Pursuit's not going to kill me if I'm at full HP. So now I can pretty much just stay in with my Starmie and scout to see what this Skuntank is. He showed Leftovers, so he's not Assault Vest. He's going to go for the Sucker Punch here as I set up a Reflect. So now I can take his Pursuit, I can take his Sucker Punch a lot better, and now I have a Reflect set up for the Mamoswine, which works out even better for me. Now, Mamoswine can't be killing a lot of my threats on my team, and it was mainly because of Mimikyu. So I can fire off a Scald if I get a burn. Now his Skuntank's even weaker. He's going to go for the Defog, so now nobody has rocks, nobody has screens. That's okay by me. It was the plan to have it up, but you know what? Defog, Skuntank worked out in the end. It did get the Reflect off the field. It did get rocks off the field. But that means my Kyurem's not taking 25%, so Scolipede's not taking 25%. So him defogging, you know what? That's fine by me. So he's going to just try to Pursue again. And this was mostly to try to keep my Starmie as healthy as possible. And now I'm at a range about 69 HP where he can Pursuit me, he can Sucker me, or I can Recover at this point. And Recover is my best option. I don't want to let this thing Pursuit Trap me. I have a way to actually damage the Skuntank. He's going to fire off a Poison Jab, and it's actually going to do a good amount. I was worried about this thing actually poisoning me, which it does, because at this point now, eventually I'm going to have to switch out. And with the Pursuit, it worries me a little bit. Yes, I do have Natural Cure, so it'll work out for me in the end if I do survive a Pursuit, but that's the thing is I have to find a way to survive a Pursuit. He's actually going to go for the Sucker Punch here and knock me out. But you know what? Starmie did weaken the Skuntank, not considerably, but it weakened it enough, is pretty much what I can say about it. That allows me to get into Kyurem Black. Give me 1 second. And back. Had to plug in the computer. So, gives me a chance to go into my Kyurem Black, and I just go for Fusion Bolt. So, I go for Fusion Bolt because he has a Skarmory. I don't think he's going to let me kill his Skuntank with an Earth Power. If I just click Earth Power, I'm weakening this Delphox tremendously. So, I fire off the Earth Power here, but I see that this thing's actually specially defensive. It took the Earth Power very well, and it's going to fire off a Trick Room. And the next turn, it's actually going to fire off a Wish. So, I'm a little confused here with the Trick Room Delphox going against my team. I do have quite a few fast mons, stuff like Starmie and Scolipede, so with the Trick Room there, and he gets off the Wish, I can fire off the Earth Power, and Kieran Black will now pick up a kill, so I'm actually sitting in a tremendous spot. I'm happy. We're up 6-3 at this point. Now, or not 6-3, we're up 5-3. In comes Mamoswine, so I was scared of Superpower. I was scared of Fightium Z Superpower. So I just go out into my Scolipede here as he goes for the Icicle Crash. And it was mostly to scout to see if he did have Superpower. I resist Superpower, but you know what? He just goes for the Icicle Crash. If he would have got the flinch on Kyurem, I would have been a little upset, but nothing I can do there. And he didn't need to show that he's Life Orb Mamoswine. I didn't see Life Orb Mamoswine because all he did was set up Stealth Rocks. He got the Wish back, and now I get a free switch into my Shucka Metagross. And Metagross can now Bullet Punch. All he has left is Skarmory, Mamoswine, and not sure at the moment what he had left. I just go for the Meteor Mash, and this was pretty much fishing for the +1. I was just trying to get that +1 attack. Unfortunately for me, Incineroar does not have Fire Stab. So I did not go into Incineroar mainly. I was Will-O-Wisp, Thunder Punch, Knockoff, and Drain Punch. So Skarmory actually did work against my team late in this game because I don't have much for it. It was my fault for not putting Fire Stab on my Incineroar. But now's a good chance for me to go out into my Incineroar and kind of just scare him out. He's going to show off the Drill Peck, so he was prepared for Scolipede. The Skarmory was built for the Scolipede. And now I can fire off a Will-O-Wisp if he goes Mamoswine, which, you know what, I'm okay with. That doesn't bother me. He's actually going to go for the Roost at this point, and I went for the Will-O-Wisp. Now this thing's going to be doing even less damage. It's burned. Drill Peck's not doing much already. I'm a defensive Incineroar. This was mostly for Mimikyu, is why I have a defensive Will-O-Wisp Incineroar. So we have a burned Skarmory, and now I'm making him use his Roosts at pretty much almost full HP. And this is my fault for not really playing around this very well. I go for Thunder Punches, and they're not doing much. So I'm going to have to figure out when does he Roost, and that's pretty much my chance to actually just click Drain Punch. So him going for Roost so early on now puts me into a big enough issue. I click Drain Punch here, mostly because I'm figuring he's going to Roost. So he ends up actually going to his Mamoswine, and I'm very happy now because my Incineroar can take an Earthquake. We're physically defensive, and that's exactly what happens. I'm living this Earthquake with 4 HP left, 7 HP, and I'm firing off another Drain Punch to get whatever sliver of health I can get back. That's pretty much all I can do is just Drain Punch for any type of health I can get. And with leftovers, I'm at about 20 HP, so I'm a little worried Skarmory can kill me. I don't have any Fire Stab. That just real sucks there. But I could have got rid of the Starmie a lot earlier. He goes out to Kotobo Pass, which is the Skuntank. Now, I was worried about Pursuit Trap, but I didn't think it'd kill. And I can go right out into my Metagross. I have Earthquake. I can take it out. I was also real worried about potentially Toxic. But he goes for the Poison Jab, probably thinking that Pursuit won't kill. And now Metagross is in a good spot. I can click Earthquake. He will Sucker Punch me. I do Reflect. Again, that's so that I can take on Skarmory and the Skuntank a lot better than normal. And with Meteor Mash, Thunder Punch, Reflect, Earthquake, I can deal with this thing pretty well. Meteor Mash is kind of just this safe middle ground play. If I do get the +1, then I can actually Thunder Punch against Skarmory and do a little bit more damage. So that's pretty much my main play is fire off Meteor Mashes. If I get the +1, great. Bullet Punch is here just to get rid of the Skuntank. I want to make sure I kill it now before it comes back and haunts me. You can get a crit Sucker Punch, Pursuit Trap me. So All that's left for him is Jatayu the Skarmory. And I have an Incineroar with Drain Punch, Thunder Punch. I just fire off the Thunder Punch, try to get as much damage off as I possibly can against this thing. He's just going to Drill Peck, pretty much just admitting defeat at this point against my team, because I have Kyurem Black with Fusion Bolt. I have 2 Pokemon with Thunder Punch, one of which should actually be Flare Blitz, but story for a different day. So I just go out into my Incineroar, try to Thunder Punch and Drain Punch my way to the victory. But Burn plus Reflect, that Drill Peck's going to do 8 total damage, and now I can start firing off the Drain Punches. 1, to get Incineroar a little bit of recovery back, and then 2, trying to see if I can catch him on a roost. Because at the time I was thinking, you know what, he might stall this out potentially for differential, something along those lines, which is why you see me Drain Punch here this turn, just to weaken the Skarmory and get a little bit of HP back. It was mostly me thinking that I had to try to just put this thing in range of Thunder Punch, not really just clicking Thunder Punch twice to end the game. And I apologize for that. At this point, I was really thinking he could potentially stall out a couple turns from me. As he's just going to go for the Drill Peck again. Incineroar coming in the clutch. Going to go for Drain Punch again. It's going to get probably 10 HP back from it. And then with another 12 HP from the leftovers. Now I finally click the Thunder Punch this final turn and knock out the Skarmory. As one, I actually don't think 2 Thunder Punches would have killed the Skarmory, because of I think I only had like 24 attack investment into Incineroar. But Thunder Punch comes in, knocks out the Skarmory, and we pick up a 3-0 win against the Seattle Staraptors. It was a good game against Gearhart. I was nervous before this game because it's a must-win game for me. But with that, we are now 4-4, closing in on the playoff hunt. I need wins, and I need decisive wins. Week 9 and 10. If I can pick up decisive wins, and there's a very good chance that the Duckletts could sneak into playoffs, and I got to find a way to stop that from happening. As a lot of leagues I'm in lately, I am fighting for a playoff spot late in the season because of a poor start early in the season. But if you guys enjoyed the video, go ahead, like the video, comment your guys' support for the Oregon Duckletts, and subscribe to the channel for more Pokemon related content. But with all that being said, guys, I am Johnny GB, and I'm out.